Here are the top stories for today, February 15, 2022. President Rodrigo Duterte says seeing majority of Filipinos getting fully vaccinated against COVID-19 will make him happy upon stepping down from the top job as he renewed his call for intensified inoculation. Protecting the future, over 9 million minors aged 12 to 17 have so far received COVID-19 jabs, while the inoculation of those in the younger group of 5 to 11 years old continue to be in full swing. Metro Manila and a big majority of the country remain under alert level 2 as the downtrend in COVID-19 cases continues, but some areas are shifting to the stricter alert level 3. And enhancing mobility in full blast, the Philippine National Railway San Pablo-Lucena route is seen to boost economic activity and ease travel in southern Luzon. Good day, I am William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. The one thing that will make President Rodrigo Duterte pleased before he steps down from office is to see that majority of the Filipino population gets protection against COVID-19. In his pre-recorded talk to the people, the president said Filipinos should understand that the dreaded COVID-19 is still here in the country. He said the government is eyeing a COVID-free country with most of the people fully vaccinated against the highly transmissible coronavirus. He also emphasized the significant contribution of the public minimum health standards to the decline of the country's COVID-19 cases.
If there is something that would make me happy when I go out of this office, maligaya ako kung malaman ko na halos lahat, kasi hindi naman lahat, halos lahat nagpabakuna. Science has proven time and again, it shows in our fight against COVID, na talagang napigilan yung surge. And hindi natin gustong babalik yan. Kaya nakikiusap tayo na the only way to fight COVID really is still the fundamental. You wash your hands, you wear a mask, avoid crowds if you can.
The president also urged the residents of various areas that are still lagging in their vaccination drive is to avail of the free jabs.
I'm pleading to you in behalf of government na mahinto na sana itong COVID. And the only way to do it is if most or not all Filipinos are vaccinated.
National Task Force Against COVID-19 Chief Secretary Carlito Galvez Jr. reports the progress of the ongoing pediatric vaccination drive in the country. During the pre-recorded talk to the people address of President Duterte, Galvez said more than 9 million minors aged 12 to 17 years old have already completed their twin COVID-19 doses, while 91,000 aged 5 to 11 have availed of initial shots as of Monday. He said there have been no reported serious adverse events following vaccination.
Naging successful po ang ating launching at mini rollout in NCR and different regions ng pediatric vaccination sa edad na 5 hanggang 11. Ang ating pong objective talaga po dito, we will start small. Pero nangyari po talagang gustong-gusto po ng mga ibang mga lugar na sumama sa vaccination rollout ng pediatrics. Kaya matutuwa po kami kasi naka 100,000 po tayo na nabakunahan. At ito po ay talagang nakakatuwa dahil kasi we never expect na mabilis natin yung 100,000. With the initial success, in-expand po natin ngayon nationwide with 482 vaccination sites. Wala po tayong problema sa supply dahil natanggap na po natin ang 1.5 million at may patating po na every week sa kabuuan po na 3.94 million ngayong buwan.
Health Secretary Francisco Duque III said vaccinating children will allow them to go out and attend physical classes and restore social skills development and cognitive function affected by the pandemic.
Ako po'y nananawagan sa lahat po ng mga magulang sa buong Pilipinas na sige na po, samantalahin na po natin ang pagkakataong ito, libre, ligtas, epektibo, dekalidad ang lahat po ng ating mga bakuna.
President Rodrigo Duterte directed the Food and Drug Administration to conduct a follow-up prosecution after busting sellers of fake medicines and fly-by-night drug stores. He cited the importance of filing charges against the actors of illegal activities, saying it would scare people to follow the wrongdoings of others.
Akin lang kasi, there must be follow-up sa prosecution para mahinto na to. Kasi that's the only way to discourage people selling fake medicines, even they are what you would call legit outlets.
FDA officer in charge Oscar Gutierrez said their office has been coordinating with the police authorities to halt the selling of counterfeit drugs, especially in small enterprises such as sari-sari stores.
So we would like sana to work with the LGU para po maybe they can pass an ordinance na yung mga sari-sari store po do not buy or carry medicine.
Sabihin mo, ito ang utos ni Presidente, ibigay daw sa inyo. Tapos, gusto ni Presidente na may bigyan siya ng monitoring outlet para masundan ko rin. Do not venture out to make mga ganito, raids and everything without the corresponding prosecution. Kasi kailangan talaga mademanda ito. So you're better off with the NBI conducting or the CIDG.
Meanwhile, Interior Secretary Eduardo Año said they will support the FDA in its fight against fake drug selling.
So we will intensify this and make sure that our LGUs will join this campaign to get rid of these fake medicines because they are dangerous to the health of our constituents. So we will coordinate with the FDA for the issuance of the appropriate memo circular, Mr. President.
President Rodrigo Duterte acknowledged the effort being exerted by Health Secretary Francisco Duque in spearheading the fight against the pandemic. He said he recognized the teamwork exhibited by the government's frontline officials to combat the COVID-19 pandemic during the last 2 years. The president made the remark amid several calls for Duque's resignation.
I'd like to just say something, kunting ano lang, that you have done good sa trabaho mo. And the Filipino will never forget that. It is a sacrifice really for you to continue doing it. And I had to ask you several times to stay on the job because we need you.
Thank you, sir.
President Duterte likewise lauded the tireless toil of Secretary Carlito Galvez Jr., Interior Secretary Eduardo Año, and Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana. He also thanked testing czar Vince Dizon for advising him to join a political party after the Duterte administration. In his report, Dizon said over 61 million Filipinos are now fully vaccinated against COVID-19, hoping to reach the 90 million before Duterte ends his term in June of this year.
It's never too late to say thank you to Secretary Duque, who spearheaded the fight against COVID, the tireless toil of Secretary Galvez and Secretary Año. Salamat sa lahat. And of course, with the guidance of the DND, si Secretary Lorenzana. Sila yung nag-teamwork to defeat this. Wala na ba? Pati si Vince Dizon. Sila yan. So, someday, magpasalamat ang Pilipino sa iyo. Vince Dizon. And saan ka man pupunta after this administration, join a political party. Yan ang forte mo. It's organizing. Mahirap yan.
President Rodrigo Duterte will end his term with the best housing production and financing average. In his report to the President, Housing Secretary Eduardo Del Rosario said significant progress has been achieved in the government's goal of providing decent, resilient, affordable, livable, and more socialized homes for Filipino families. He said the 195,687 financing average per year is the highest since 1975 and that the Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development shall support the needs of underprivileged and homeless Filipinos so they could have access to safe and affordable housing. Still ahead, a partnership between the Philippines and Qatar is seen to boost the local dairy industry. And the Quezon City government's contractual and jobs workers will get free health insurance coverage. Details ahead. Keep it here on the PNA Newsroom.
Commander Dito Ocampo po ng Philippine Coast Guard Auxiliary para sa kumpanyang Disiplina Muna na pinangungunahan ng DILG. Bakit natin kailangan magpabakuna laban sa COVID-19? Dahil mahal mo ang iyong sarili, pamilya at bayan. Ang bakuna ang tiyak na paraan para tuluyang mapigilan ang pagkalat ng virus. May mga patunay na mababa ang porsyento ng pagkalat ng COVID-19 sa mga nabakunahan na. At matapos mabakunahan, malaki na ang tsansa na makabalik ka sa normal mong pamumuhay. Kaya tulad ko magparehistro na at magpabakuna na kontra COVID-19. Muli po, ako si Commander Dito Ocampo, Disiplina Muna Ambassador. Nagpapaalala, huwag matakot magpabakuna dahil bida ang may disiplina. Magparehistro tayo at magpabakuna para sa ligtas na pamilya, ligtas na bayan.
Hi everyone, James Deacon here. The COVID-19 vaccines are finally here and the government wants to make sure the vaccines reach us. So let's do our part by making sure that we get registered to be included in the vaccination list of our LGU. You can register right in the comfort and safety of your own homes through your LGU's online registration platform. And you can also register on-site in the vaccination venues or through your barangay. Remember, getting vaccinated is the first step towards ending this pandemic. So let's do our part as disciplined citizens. Bida ang may disiplina. Magpakarehistro at magpabakuna para sa ligtas na pamilya, ligtas na bayan.
Metro Manila remains under the Alert Level 2 status until the end of the month. Other areas will also be placed under Alert Level 2 from February 16 to 28. Under Alert Level 2, the maximum operational capacities for several businesses and activities is 50% for indoor venues for fully vaccinated persons and those below 18 years of age, even if unvaccinated. Outdoor venues are allowed to operate at 70% provided all workers of the establishments are fully inoculated against COVID-19. Meanwhile, 7 areas are placed under the more stringent Alert Level 3 during the same period. These include Iloilo City, Iloilo Province and Guimaras, Zamboanga City, Davao de Oro, Davao Occidental, and South Cotabato. Under Alert Level 3, establishments or activities shall be allowed to operate at a maximum of 30% indoor venue capacity for fully vaccinated individuals and 50% outdoor venue capacity, provided that all workers of the establishments are fully vaccinated against COVID-19. Malacanang says the Interagency Task Force will now recognize the national COVID-19 vaccination certificates of Malaysia and the Republic of Ireland. Acting Presidential Spokesperson Cabinet Secretary Carlo Nograles said the IATF approved the recommendation of the Department of Foreign Affairs to recognize vaccination certificates of the two countries. He said the IATF directed the Bureau of Quarantine, the Department of Transportation One-Stop Shop, and the Bureau of Immigration to recognize proof of vaccination of Malaysian and Irish nationals. The IATF earlier approved the recommendation of the DFA to recognize the national COVID-19 vaccination certificates issued by Slovenia, Bahrain, Qatar, Switzerland, Hong Kong, Brazil, Israel, South Korea, and Timor-Leste. The country is looking at a $500 million deal for the establishment of an integrated dairy facility in partnership with Baladna Qatar Public Shareholding Company. The project can increase local milk production by 120 million liters from the current 26.7 million liters to address local demand and decrease imports. Agriculture Secretary William Dar said the investments will generate at least 2,000 new jobs during the initial phase of its first full year of operations. The DA has already identified 5 possible locations for the project and will welcome the Baladna team in the next few weeks. The deal was signed in Dubai, United Arab Emirates on February 11. Baladna QPSC is involved in raising livestock and the production of dairy products as well as animal fertilizers. The country supplies over 95% of Qatar's fresh dairy products. Meanwhile, more than 13,000 contractual and job order employees of the Quezon City government will receive health insurance coverage. The city's insurance program will cover all full-time contract of service and job order employees who have rendered at least 6 months of uninterrupted service before February 1st. The QC Human Resource Management Department will grant an annual benefit limit of 100,000 pesos per member. Benefits include annual physical examinations, emergency care services, hospitalization or inpatient care and outpatient services, insurance for pre-existing and critical illnesses, and life insurance. Mayor Joy Belmonte said the city government aims to maintain the health and safety of its workforce and ensure they can serve the city as efficiently and effectively as possible. The current program is valid from February 1st, 2022 to January 31, 2023. The Philippine National Railway San Pablo-Lucena route is expected to unlock economic potentials and enhance movement of commuters and goods in southern Luzon. Transportation Secretary Arthur Tugade made the remark during his inspection of the PNR Lucena San Pablo route. He said, aside from its use as a passenger commuter service, the PNR Lucena San Pablo route can also be converted into a commercial or cargo freight service. PNR General Manager June Magno said the PNR San Pablo-Lucena line would open the economic corridors of Laguna, Quezon, and Bicol. San Pablo City Urban Development and Housing Officer Emilio Tirones said the PNR line would aid in the city's economic stability, mobility, and connectivity and relocation for informal settlers. The PNR San Pablo-Lucena route is a 44-kilometer railway which was part of the commuter train service to Bicol. Parts of the long-distance rail network's right-of-way will be utilized for the PNR South Long Haul Project or the Bicol Express. Up next, the Sangguniang Kabataan Reform Bill is expected to attract more young people to public service. And the New People's Army's force continues to dwindle with the surrender of more members who got tired of their meaningless cause. More stories when the PNA Newsroom returns.
Nais mo bang bumalik at magsimula ng panibagong buhay sa inyong probinsya? May solusyon dyan. Bisitahin ang balikprobinsya.ph upang mag-apply. Pero ano nga ba ang Balik Probinsya Bagong Pag-asa program o mas kilala bilang BP2? Ang programang ito ay binuo ng gobyerno mula sa EO 114 na naglalayong matugunan ang lumulobong populasyon at pagsikip ng mga residential area sa NCR. Layunin rin ng BP2 na makapagbigay ng pantay na oportunidad sa mga Pilipinong magbabalik probinsya. Ligtas at libre kang makakabalik sa inyong probinsya sa tulong ng BP2. May kasama pang tulong pinansyal at oportunidad para makapagsimula ng pangkabuhayan. Bagong pag-asa ang hatid ng Balik Probinsya program. Kaya naman ano pang hinihintay mo? Mag-register na sa balikprobinsya.ph.
The TikTok account owner who allegedly warned of an assassination plot on presidential candidate Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. has agreed to undergo a polygraph test to prove his innocence. National Bureau of Investigation Cybercrime Division Chief Victor Lorenzo said suspect Ruel Bong Ricafort has turned over his mobile phone for forensic examination. On the other hand, the lie detector test will be scheduled soon. Ricafort surrendered to the NBI on February 9 following reports that his TikTok account was tagged in a plot to assassinate Marcos. He claimed his account on the video platform was accessed and used without his knowledge. Despite the threat, Marcos and his running mate Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte continue to go around the country for their campaign sorties. To promote Maranao culture and improve the Muslim faith, school officials in Marawi City have proposed the wearing of the malong and a 10-day religious break for teachers. More on this from Claire Gighe.
The Marawi City Schools Division, or MCSD, took steps to strengthen the preservation of Maranao culture and protect it from cultural erosion. In a public consultation, City Schools Division Superintendent Ana Zenaida Unte Alonto presented her Project Maranao Ako Wednesday proposal to solicit support from various stakeholders for its enactment through a City Council resolution or ordinance. The Project Maranao Ako Wednesday entails the wearing of a wraparound garment called malong every Wednesday among the division personnel and teachers to further promote the Maranao identity and culture.
We have observed the different things associated with our race as Maranao are being forgotten. So what we thought in the City Schools Division of Marawi is for us to wear malong at least once a week, which we chose Wednesday because we need also to wear our uniform for the rest of the week.
The wearing of malong every Wednesday has already been imposed in the division office, but the SDS believes that it would be better if it will be enacted by the City Council to make it official among all public and private schools under the division's jurisdiction. Meanwhile, as the holy month of Ramadan is again approaching, the MCSD is also pushing for a local ordinance declaring a 10-day break during the last 10 days of Ramadan. Such a proposal aims to give the division personnel, teachers, and learners the time to religiously observe the Laylatul Qadr, which takes place during the last 10 days of Ramadan and is one of the most sacred nights in the Islamic calendar.
What we wanted is to put it into law so that all our schools, including the private and the public schools, will have to observe the last 10 days, the Laylatul Qadr, the most important 10 days of Ramadan, to observe it religiously, faithfully.
Under the proposal, personnel and teachers would pay for the 10-day break through an offset arrangement depending on the prerogative of the schools. For PNA Newsroom, Claire Gighe of the Philippine Information Agency, Lanao del Sur.
Various Sangguniang Kabataan officials and youth leaders on Monday supported the measure providing additional benefits for SK officials. The SK lauded the ratification of the bicameral conference report of House Bill 10698 and Senate Bill 2124, more commonly known as the SK Empowerment and Compensation Bills. It said the bill would encourage and empower more youth to be involved in public service as future leaders of the country. The group said the passage of the compensation bill also highlights the importance of having a genuine youth representation in Congress. They urged President Rodrigo Duterte to immediately sign the bill into law. House Bill 10698 grants SK Kagawads honoraria, allowances, and appropriate certificates of civil service eligibility. The reform also expands the functions of SKs to include skills training, youth employment, environmental protection, values education, and other programs affecting young people. A couple from the New People's Army surrendered along with their comrade to police forces in Sagay City, Negros Occidental. These surrenderers were presented to the city task force to end local communist armed conflict chaired by Sagay City Mayor Alfredo Marañon III. They were identified as Ka Nike and Ka Aisa and their comrade Ka Alan. Ka Nike and Ka Aisa belong to the NPA Southwest Front from the southern part of Negros Occidental. They said they surrendered for the sake of their 2-year-old son. Meanwhile, Ka Alan, who was under the Northern Negros Front, said he was tired of fighting for a lost cause. Lieutenant Colonel Ryan Manongdo, commander of the 6th Special Action Battalion of the PNP Special Action Force, said he hopes their surrender will inspire communist terrorists to lay down their arms. In Negros Occidental, the 6SAB has been implementing counter-white area operations to reach out to communities influenced by the CPP-NPA. A juvenile Pinskers hawk eagle returned to the wild on Monday following its rescue last week in Tandag City, Surigao del Sur. The eagle was released in Sitio Cag-Inid, Barangay San Jose, Tandag City. Bishop Raul Dael of the Roman Catholic Diocese of Tandag said, "The presence of the eagle in our place is a sign that Surigao del Sur still has a very good ecosystem." He added that the Diocese of Tandag is committed to supporting the mandate of the government to nurture and protect the environment. The bird was rescued last week when it was trapped at the backyard of San Padre Pio Devotional Chapel in Cag-Inid. The hawk eagle is considered an endangered species. Cliff Abraham of the Community Environment and Natural Resources Office said that the protection of the hawk eagle and other wildlife species in Surigao del Sur will also depend on the awareness of residents. Let's take another look at today's biggest stories. President Rodrigo Duterte says seeing majority of Filipinos getting fully vaccinated against COVID-19 will make him happy upon stepping down from the top job as he renewed his call for intensified inoculation. Protecting the future, over 9 million minors aged 12 to 17 have so far received COVID-19 jabs, while the inoculation of those in the younger group of 5 to 11 years old continue to be in full swing. Metro Manila and a big majority of the country remain under alert level 2 as the downtrend in COVID-19 cases continues, but some areas are shifting to the stricter alert level 3. And enhancing mobility in full blast, the Philippine National Railway San Pablo-Lucena route is seen to boost economic activity and ease travel in southern Luzon. As Filipinos, we all have a vital role to play in preventing the spread of COVID-19. So remember, wear your face masks and face shields, wash your hands often, practice safe physical distancing, go out only for essential reasons, and get vaccinated as soon as possible to protect ourselves, our families, and the community. Together, we can beat COVID-19. Thank you for watching another episode of the PNA Newsroom. For more news content, check our webpage or log on to the Philippine News Agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts. For more stories about the government and how it serves Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. We are shown on the pages of the PCOO and its attached agencies. Also, watch us on television on PTV4 and IBC 13. And that's your daily dose of the biggest stories that you need to know from the PNA Newsroom. We tell stories that inspire change. I am William Theo. Good day, everyone.